Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the undergrad organic chemistry lab. Today we are specifically discussing about the health, risks, safety, and organization in the organic chemistry lab. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lisette Garcia Enriquez. I am a PhD student in the Chemistry and Biochemistry department from UTEP. I specifically work for the Functional Quantum Materials Laboratory. You can reach me at this email, which is the main email that we are gonna use for our communication. So I just comment that whenever you have an issue or need some help or have a doubt regarding the lab, the quizzes or anything, you can reach me at that email. I can help you whenever you need any help. And just for you to know, I don't have any specific office hours, any time or a schedule, so it means that you can contact me whenever you want from Monday to Friday. uh, so um, I prefer that way. You are more comfortable in contacting me whenever you need the help. If I cannot address your problem, situation, or issue properly, we can together contact Dr. Mati, which is our instructor, right? But I suggest you to first contact me in case you need any help. So let's start. This presentation is going to have two parts. First is going to have the safety laboratory organization presentation, and the second part which is going to be a virtual laboratory tour. The first part. So the safety and laboratory organization has four specific main goals. First of all, to improve the safety in the undergrad organic chemistry lab. It means that it's very important. You are more than 5 typically in a lab, so you all must be safe in order to protect yourself and protect your peers, right? Also, to make the student aware of possible accidents during their lab experiment. This is very important because accidents may happen even when you are taking the security and safety properly. In that case, you must know what step to to make after that. Of course, if you are in a actual lab, you should contact your TA for help. You should try to, if it is a split in your skin, you should wash your hand. Use the different safety equipments that we have in the lab. Also, another objective is to increase the student knowledge about the use of highly reactive reagents or chemicals. And most importantly, is clean, well-organized lab environment is needed. No accident, no chemicals, and no contamination. It is the same. If you work clean, if you have everything that you have used very controlled, you have no risk to have, or your risks to have accidents or chemical contamination are going to be very less. That's why you must reduce all chances to have an accident or to get a not proper result in your measurements or the experiment or synthesis that you are performing. These are two extreme examples that of course haven't happened in our lab specifically, but this is a split of acid and the same. This is a split the glass that was broken. So as it says, students and TAs need to stay vigilant about the possible risks of accidents during their lab experiments. That is very important. it. So in order to all of stay safe. This is a very bad example about a tragic incident that happened in an Ookla lab, which was a fire. So just for you to understand how important is the safety in a chemical lab in which you are working with dangerous corrosive materials. You have an environment that is risky. It's by itself. That's why you must uh, be properly prepared. So in case, of course, that you need any help or any urgency, you must call 911 or campus police department, HRS. Dr. Matty Wusich is our instructor and the main office. Also, first of all, if since it's a virtual lab, it doesn't make too much sense. But if it was an actual lab, you should contact me at first, right? Um, Then, the main question, why is so important the safety in the lab? In order to prevent adverse health effects from exposure to chemicals, to organisms, diseases, and also to prevent accidents that can come from laboratory experiment hazards if you don't handle it properly, right? So this is needed for everybody. Even us as a PhD students must get a lab training each year in order to remember and to restudy the safety in the lab. That's very, very important in the lab. Dr. Ricardo McCreely provides several safety lectures every semester. We must attend at least one a year. So, you should always review the laboratory safety before the start of the undergrad lab, right? There here we can review some of the rules. So it means that you must wear approved safety goggles all time inside the lab. No food or drinks or smoking are allowed. Closed-toe shoes must be worn. Work is permitted only during scheduled laboratory periods. Know the location of fire extinguisher, safety equipment, and the nearest exit. Do not use broken or cracked glassware. And of course, for that you must check the glassware before using it. Never taste or smell chemicals. Avoid contact of chemicals with skin. The use of glove, that's why it's required. Dispose the chemical waste and as directed by the instructor. In each lab, we must get some specific residues, right? So in each specific case, I must tell you where those residues belong to. If it is a safety residue, I can tell you to drop it down the drain, right? But most of the cases in this organic chemistry lab, the residues are toxic and no environmental friendly, right? So we must dispose it properly in each specific container, depending on the source of the residue. And you also have to clean your work area and put away all equipment and glassware before leaving. Also, you must clean the glassware also. Put paper, trash, and broken glass in their specific containers and keep balanced and prim from clean. Safety measurements and personal protection equipment. As you can see, as this is a resume, as you said, lab coats is mandatory, gloves, and goggles. Those three are mandatory. You must know where is the ice wash, the safety shower, and the fire extinguishers. In case that you have any emergency, you must go there to wash your hands, your face, and whatever it gets damaged. You cannot leave your skin exposed when you are working with chemical. That's why you must wear pants and clothes, shoes, that because your feet must be completely covered. Um, so safety first. That's our rule in our lab. In the chemistry and biochemistry department, the rule is safety first, always. So before using any new reagent, you must ask your TA for the experiment. So if you have any question about how to handle that specific reagent, and also to further improve your knowledge regarding your organic chemistry experiment, arrange a meeting with your instructor of records as well. And let's put an example. In the environmental health and safety reported to the department on Tuesday, February of 2020, that students were in lab unsupervised. That's a very huge issue. So mainly because you must be supervised by an instructor or a teaching assistant, and somewhere must be with you there. 2 students were in the lab and had water bottles and no eye protection. That's an example. So you must be always supervised. You must be always wearing your safety uh, protection mediums in order to be safe in the lab. And the corrective measures, the students not enter to the organic lab until you allow them. The TA as well. Student, do not enter the laboratory until your TA will allow you. That's a rule at the end, right? It is your responsibility as a TA, or my responsibility as a TA, to make sure that my students are following the safety rules. That's true. That happened to me in the past. I took care of more than 20 students at the same time, and sometimes 1 or 2 were not properly using the safety equipment or following the safety rule, and because I couldn't see them on time, I was requested by Dr. Ricardo, which is my responsibility. I must take care of that. But you should also know that this is a big issue, and you should do it because of your safety, of course. Look at that. This cannot happen, right? Everything must be, once you clean it and it's dry, you must storage, right? Most of it. This is not safe. This is not safe. You must put the glassware safe. Look at this. How corrosive is everything because of, yeah. You cannot leave any item, including papers or broken glass, inside the sink, and let clean the glassware dry for the next student section, right? And of course, as a TA, I need to assist you in that, but not do your work. Thus, you cannot leave the balance dirty after any use. That's the thing that you cannot do. You must clean it properly after you use it, because before you use it, it was clean, supposedly, right? You must keep it clean. Of course, you don't want to leave any item close to the balance and in less on level, and this reagent is open, so you cannot do that. Of course, any chemicals close to the balance as well. And the corrective measurements in this case, Make sure no chemicals left on the near balance. Me as a TA. So me as a TA have to request you whenever you make any kind of mistake or in order for you to learn and be preventive in this sense that you must follow the rules, right? As students, you should learn what is an aqueous waste, an halogenated waste, non-halogenated waste, and because these are the different type of residues or waste that we must generate in the NATA lab. And in any experiment, I must tell you where to discard any of your residues depending on the type of waste. You must also be able to recognize what type of waste you are regenerating and where to storage, right? Because if not, explosion may occur if you mix the wrong solvents together. That's a very huge issue. There's an example. What is this? So if you just put it there, then what is this? So you must storage it inside the containers, the waste container. Because after the experiment, who comes next doesn't know what it is. So you must address it by yourself. Look at this. These are used pipettes that should not be left in the fume hood. It should be cleaned by the student and properly put it into to dry, right, or storage. And of course, the pipettes should be moved to the broken glass box if they are broken, and if they are reusable, you should just clean it. But in this case, they are just um, for one-time use. Empty chemicals should not be left also in the fume hood, and also used pipette should not be left in the fume hood. Of course, you should document the solvent waste properly. Anytime you remove and you are putting a waste inside the waste container, you must put how many milliliters did you add, what was the waste that you were adding in the waste container, and this must be filled in each of these papers depending on the waste. You must fill it. I added, for example, 100 milliliters of an aqueous solution that contains phenolphthalein and sodium chloride or whatever. That's you have to know and give a general description. That's also examples about broken and where you should storage the broken and the disposable pipettes um, and glasswares in general. And this is an example that you should organize and clean your fume hood at the end of your lab. Of course, you should only keep the equipment with the same color code in your fume hood. As you see, this is not from this fume, since everything is yellow, right? And I must supervise that, and you must follow the rules as well. This is an example. Look at this, how it is almost falling out of the hood. You must everything must be properly put it in the hood, organize it, safe and clean. And that's the problem. You have also laboratory kits, and the glassware in the kits need to be cleaned at the end of your lab every day. The kits needs to be in their assigned station. It means that before, when you start, you have it there. When you finish, you clean it and you put it back, right? At the end of the semester, we always have these synthesized products in our cabinets, right? You wish if we don't storage that, we do not leave it there, right? In this case, we should each empty our cabinets and work closely with me as your TA to discard your synthesized intermediates into the solid waste. Of course, the students need to clean their glassware and flask before they leave the lab, right? Then let's move now to the second part of the conference, which is the laboratory tour. In here we have to make sure the safety precautions in the lab, the state to take in case of accidents, the steps to take in case of fire alarm, the locations to safety wash shower, laboratory and building exit, and the instrument in the lab. In this case, since it's going to be a virtual lab, this second part is not going to be touching deep, right? Just in general, you must, since you are in organic too, I'm not sure how many of you took actual experiment in our organic lab, but in general, this is in order for you to know what are the safety showers that we have in our lab, the fire extinguisher, and all these safety precautions that we have in the lab. Of course, in case of accidents, the step you must take is you go to those safety equipment, the shower, the eyeglass, the eye shower, or the fire extinguisher, or all these places to dismiss the effects of that accident. Also contact me and call the 911 in case. Of course, the emergency exit, everything you must know. But since it's a virtual experiment, there is not too much that we can do, right? Again, you must know these numbers in case that there is any emergency in the lab. And I think that that's all for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's meet next week. You know that you can contact me, as I already explained you. This is my email again. In case that you have any doubt or need any help, just contact me. You can also contact Dr. Mati, but you should first contact me to see if I can address your problem, right? Have a great week, and I hope you have a very safe and a productive week. Bye bye.